Hey everyone, I just wanted to share this extraordinary, wonderful moment of American history. Donald John Trump was just impeached, as many of you know, by a vote of 232 to 197, with 10 Republicans crossing the aisle to register their vote for all of American history. 10 Republicans, double the amount of same party people who voted for impeachment to the 5 that had voted to impeach Bill Clinton way back in 1998. This is incredibly significant. And I just have to say the irony of it, the 232 votes to impeach Donald John Trump for a second time, that is exactly the number of electoral votes that he received. He lost the Electoral College by 306 to 232. 232 members of the House of Representatives. I'm tired of living through historic events. Thank you, Dave. Well, there may be some more. 232 congressmen have voted to impeach him. All you needed was 218, and there were 10 Republicans who joined. This is a huge, huge thing. Couple firsts. Number one, the first time in American history that a president was impeached more than once. Number two, history making is, as I just said, the largest number of people of one's own party, the president's own party, to vote to impeach him. Now, the question is, what's going to happen? I think that this is so incredibly significant because, as I said in my article that I posted, what would the world think if we allowed this term to end after a president was sitting in the Oval Office or in his dining room or wherever he was, watching and maybe getting sadistically excited, watching the carnage that he created and inspired through his own lies and his own incitement, refusing to allow governors and people from the District of Columbia to bring in more troops to protect the entire United States Congress and his vice president, right? And on and on and on. All the things that led to that insurrection and that sedition. What would the world have said after 4 years of Donald Trump doing so many incredibly fascistic things if we had not done what we did today? So I want you to tell your Republican friends who go, it was meaningless, it's a publicity stunt, you can't wait to just to get back at him, you're jealous of him, you've always wanted to impeach him, you've never accepted his victory, et cetera, it's stupid timing, we need to pull the country together. You've heard all these arguments. They are bullshit. The American democracy for our history had to do this at the soonest possible opportunity, and we did. And I am so proud. And I happen to be friends with all three of these guys. Of the three people, Congressman Ted Lieu, Congressman David Cicilline, you need to know these people. These are American heroes. Congressman Lieu and Congressman Cicilline were sheltered in place, afraid for their lives as the Trumpian mobs, the QAnon pro-Trumpian MAGA mobs, were walking outside, not knowing in those moments while they were trapped in whatever room they were trapped in, whether the door was going to be bashed in, whether rifle fire was going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 seconds. Yet in these moments, my own congressman, the incredible Ted Lieu, and this amazing guy, David Cicilline from Rhode Island, who was one of the first 2 openly gay members of Congress, I think, in history, an incredible guy, a great legislator. They took that time while literally not being sure whether they were going to survive this invasion, right, this insurrection, and said, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into an impeachment to show the world that we are better than this, that America will not stand for this. And they literally started to create the articles of impeachment on Wednesday while they were fearing for their lives, that were just voted on and agreed to today on the House floor 1 week later, in 1 week. So Ted Lieu, huge hero. David Cicilline, huge hero. And then what they did, according to Ted, and you've seen him talk about it probably, is they got on the phone with Jamie Raskin, who a week and a half or 7 days before that, before January 6th, on New Year's Eve, had lost his son, a Harvard law student, through suicide because of, ongoing bouts with depression. And given that he's in deep mourning, he's in fear for his life because of the Trumpian insurrection while Trump is getting off on watching this on TV. And he, together with Congressman Cicilline and Congressman Liu, have the presence of mind to say, let's actually show the world and Donald Trump and the rest of America that this is not okay. And in 1 week's time, boom, with the support of 10 Republicans, the work, the effort, the vision of those 3 congressmen came to pass. So I just want to share a couple things. People hate politicians. Oh, politicians, they all suck. No, Ted Lieu doesn't suck. David Cicilline doesn't suck. Jamie Raskin doesn't suck. The 222 Democrats who voted for this don't suck. The 10 Republicans who went against their party and went against Donald Trump and went against their constituents, a lot of their constituents. You don't get elected as a Republican member of Congress unless you have a lot of Republican support, obviously, in your district. And they went against their own constituents and may, in fact, lose their careers over this. All politicians don't suck. Some politicians suck really, really badly, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, no relationship to me, thank God, who refuses to wear a mask while everybody is huddled together. And now 3 Democratic members of Congress, including a 75-year-old woman who just survived a bout with cancer, have tested positive for COVID. That congressperson sucks. And most of the Republicans, I think, who are not willing to look at this, what Donald Trump did, which is clearly unconstitutional, clearly impeachable, clearly seditious, clearly disgusting and abhorrent, and does not represent in any way, shape, or form what the American democracy should be and what the rest of the world has thought we were. Cannot wait till January 20th so that a real Democrat, little d Democrat and big D Democrat, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, are going to start to repair our reputation around the world. No, Donald Trump, sorry, dude. Not only have you been impeached now twice, that's the reality show that actually is real. You have destroyed what the world thinks of America. You have not made America great again. You have made America a laughingstock of the world. You may have friends, as I do, overseas, and constantly text, emails, whatever. What the heck are you guys doing with that joker? Well, we sent a message, not just to Donald Trump, not just to Americans, but and it was so important that we do this. And I don't care if it was 30 seconds before Donald Trump leaves office. We sent a message to the world saying, this is not who we are. This is who some people are, but we've stood up to fascism. We've stood up to anti-democracy. We've stood up to white supremacism. Because that's ultimately what's been going on for the last 4 years, in case you hadn't noticed. Does anyone honestly think for a second that if those insurgents, those marauders, that mob was primarily African American or even Hispanic, they had dark skin, do you think it would have gone down that same way? No. I mean, come on, we have to be honest. We've ripped the Band-Aid off, we've punctured the boil, and we're now getting to see the ooze that is coming out. But that's a good thing. It's cathartic. It's cathartic. This impeachment is a cathartic thing. So let's not retreat to the whataboutism and the bullshit. What about what happened in Seattle and all the Black Lives Matter and all the defund? No, let's focus on what this is and let's move forward as a country. And God, praying that Joe and Kamala will be okay on the 20th and we're going to be able to actually, move forward. Let me read a few comments and then we'll end. I just wanted to share this moment with you guys because this is history. You're going to be able to tell your kids and your grandkids and your dogs and cats and about this, that you were here. You witnessed within a short period of time, just a little over a year, 2 impeachments of the most dangerous fascist that has ever surfaced on American soil, who happened to have made his way some way or another into the Oval Office. Tired, it's glorious. Yes, Mary Lou, it's glorious. Political pressure needs to be on Mitch to reconvene the Senate ASAP. Emily, 100%. And I think it might happen. I think they're done with this dude. Kathy, I'm melancholy about this. Glad it occurred, but saddened for our country. This had to happen to what Trump is, right? Well, listen, we made a mistake. We collectively made a mistake, and we have exorcised, right? This has been an exorcism of the orange antichrist. We love it. Yes, Manuel. Yes, what's going to happen? Who knows? We'll see what's going to happen with the Senate. Lee, you sent me a link. I'll look at that. Kathy, let's not let Republicans in the House and Senate off the hook for enabling this behavior. Absolutely. Absolutely. And guess what? Here's what's great. This is one of my favorite quotes that I came up with, and you may use it. You don't even have to attribute it to anybody. The founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, created a revolution, not just the American Revolution. They created a revolution, an ongoing revolution for America every 2 years. That revolution is called an election. Every 2 years, we collectively as America, we get to throw out, to fire every single one of the 435 members of the House of Representatives, and all of those, 197 who voted against this impeachment. They could all be fired. They could all be thrown out, because every single member of the House has to run for re-election every 2 years. And we can throw out a third of the United States Senate every 2 years, because they have a 6-year term. And there are about 22, I believe, Republicans, most of whom are supporting Donald Trump and will continue, that can be fired as well. So we have a revolution every 2 years. Thank you, founding fathers. It's called an election, and that's the opportunity. That's what we focus on. Thank you, Alabama. I'm not sure what that means. The Secret Service now investigating reports of a TV being thrown out of the White House bedroom window. Yeah, right. The fact that he was watching TV instead of actually getting the National Guard, et cetera, to get down there and taking the calls from frantic governors from Maryland and other places. The seditious Republicans in the House need to be held accountable under Amendment 14, Section 3. I think that's a useful conversation, Kathy. It's a tricky one constitutionally, but it's useful, and who knows. Shout out to the 10 Republicans. Yes, these guys are here. And oh my God, Lynn Cheney, how much have we hated her father? But she is a patriot. Thank you, Lynn Cheney. I mean, we're not going to agree on a lot, but we agree on this. And thank you for making, because if Lynn Cheney didn't do this, we wouldn't have had 10 Republicans for sure. So that's what leadership is about, and morality and integrity. The one was a freshman rep, yes, but they still ended with hello. Okay, yes, congratulations. Thank you, Dulcie. There are many people who suck, no matter who they're, politicians or not, but there are also great people out there. Yes, Gabrielle. Trump was a disaster even before he got elected. It's nearly over. I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. I didn't mean to say blah, blah, blah. I'll check. Yeah, thanks for your insights. You're very welcome. Jennifer, does Pence become president? Oh, no. Let me explain the civics of this. Real simple. This is just an indictment. This is an arrest warrant. There now has to be a trial. So an impeachment is nothing more than the charging of impeachable acts as determined by one house of Congress. And now, of course, as we know, has to go to the Senate, and there must be a conviction of 2/3 of the senators present, which, as Rachel's been talking about a lot, Rachel Maddow, if a lot of them Republicans stay home, you would have enough with Democrats and a few Republicans, or just Democrats, if that's the way that McConnell is going to want it to be run. Can the Senate still convict him after the 20th? Yes, absolutely. He's being convicted of crimes, and then there'd be a separate vote, a majority vote, as to whether he could ever run for federal office again. the need to amend the Constitution, require qualification of potential presidential candidates. If we don't one of these moronic, absolutely, and a psychiatric evaluation, for God's sakes. So I agree with that. Been saying this for 4 years. We need to amend. One great start would be to revoke Citizens United, which Congress cannot, Congress cannot revoke Citizens United. It is a Supreme Court decision. It can only be changed by a Supreme Court. And this current 6-3 Republican Supreme Court won't do it. But if we change the court, it will. It will potentially happen. But there are other things that we can do without outright revoking Citizens United. So I'm glad you asked. For the Jennifer says, not unless it gets done in the Senate before the 20th, and they're coming. Things can change. They could actually. Sorry, guys. Just I'm not sick. The majority leader and the minority leader can agree to bring the Senate back in session tomorrow. And if McConnell is of the mind, that could happen. I would say it's 50-50. So we got more votes against him than Nixon in the House. Wow, for perspective, true. Aren't the 10 Republicans just listening to their sponsors? No, I don't know what that means, who their sponsors are. Thank you for answering the question. Will Trump testify this time? Trump can be subpoenaed. He absolutely can be subpoenaed. Here's the difference. If this goes to a trial in the Senate after the 20th, when Chuck Schumer is the majority leader, they can do a lot of things that McConnell would not let them do before in the previous one. The fact that only 10 Republicans voted for the rest shows how far we are from a reformed GOP, right? But I'm an optimist, and I think we have to applaud all good things. What if convicted, what types of punishment should the Senate? No, it's not about that. Elwin, the only thing that happens if Donald Trump is convicted in an impeachment trial is he is removed from office. They can vote on other things like making sure he doesn't run again, but criminal stuff needs to go through the Attorney General and the Justice Department or states or counties or cities, and those things will probably happen. Would it be feasible to expand the Supreme Court? The only way that's going to happen is if we get enough senators, and we don't have them now because of Joe Manchin, who will suspend the filibuster rules, in other words, nuke the filibuster, so you can vote to have 11 or 13 or 15 Supreme Court justices or reform the Supreme Court in any other way. That can happen if we elect a bunch more progressive/Democratic senators in 2022. Got a lot of questions. Okay, just a few more, and then I'm going to let you guys go. If AG charges him with inciting violence after he's out, would that be a felony, and would that also stop him from running again? You know what, Tanya, that's a great point. I think you're right. I do not think that you can be a president if you've been a felon, but I will double check on that. McConnell has said he's not going to do it. Okay, we're going to have to wait. We'll see what the Senate does. Don't we need 2/3 in the Senate to convict Trump? Yes, we do. Can Trump run again? He can now, but if he is convicted and they vote to have him not run again, he can't. There were more than 10 Republicans made impassioned speeches. I'm not sure that's true. Once impeached, convicted, he can be prevented by. Yes, exactly. That's correct. Lynn, I'm not sure that's true because, or they could make impassioned speeches and then they could say, hey, but still, this is not the proper time. So I think there's some Republicans who are kind of, neutralizing some of that passion with some other arguments. Okay, Jordan calls on Cheney to step down from House leadership. Yeah, Jim Jordan is a special piece of work, isn't he? And I can't believe he has escaped the kind of criticism he deserves for what he did when he was a college wrestling coach. Okay, last question. If he resigns, can you still convict? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, big day. History was made. We'll talk soon because this whole scenario is far from over. Love you guys.